All right, welcome to Rotary 101. We're going to abridge the newbie session and go straight into our presentation and purpose that we're here today. But first, Chief of Staff Peter Anderson is going to give us a couple of upcoming very important dates that you're going to need for some events that are coming up for training. So if you want to go through those when you have a moment.
You should see these dates real quick, the upcoming dates for the people who are going to be on the district team next year, this coming Saturday or March. I'm sorry, that's wrong. It should be the 23rd of March is the district team training seminar. Unfortunately, we can't open that up to everyone in the district because of limited space. But for the district team, please make sure you know about that and get out there. And that's going to be out in Warrenton. And then we have on 12 to 13 April, and this will be down just north of Richmond at Glen Allen, is the Zone 33 training seminar. And that is open to anyone who wants to attend, but you need to realize that one, there is a cost that you will have to bear, and it's a 2-day seminar. So, you can get a hotel room there, but again, that's at your own expense. But this is a chance to expand your horizons because you'll be meeting people outside of our district from Zone 33. And you'll get a whole different perspective. Basically, they'll be dealing with public image, the foundation, and membership. So it's a great way to network, get to know more about Rotary and meet other people. On 20 April, the District Interact Summit is going to be held at Mary Washington University down in Fredericksburg. So please consider going down and supporting the Interact clubs. Again, all of these are on the district calendar. And this is where I reversed it. 27 April is the district training assembly. And that will also be out in Warrenton. Correct, Earl?
Yes.
Yes.
You've got the 23rd on the...
No, I said I've got the dates reversed. It should be the 23rd of March and the 27th of April.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So, but that is, everyone is invited. We want as many people to attend that, even if you are not. It is focused on the club officers. But you don't need to be a club officer to attend. This is how you can find out areas you're interested in. You can increase the depth of your club by putting some additional people that have expertise in these areas and the different club officer areas, even if you're not one. So please join that. Again, you'll meet other people in the district, get a chance to network within the district, find out new things that you don't know. And then the last one I've got here is on 30 June, we have the district awards luncheon and the installation ceremony of the new DG or the upcoming DG. So please make sure you schedule that on your calendar and sign up for it. And please sign up for all of these as soon as you can, because we do need to figure out how many people we have coming. It helps us plan the events and helps us make sure everything goes smoothly. So with that, I will stop sharing. And I'll turn it back over to DG Renee to introduce our speaker for the day.
Okay, so most of you will be familiar with Earl because he is a standard in our district. He is one of the most awesome volunteers that we have, and he was a big, tough job to follow when I came in as the assistant governor for Area 4 because they all loved Earl, and then comes in the new girl. So he's been a mentor of mine, and I'm really excited that next year, starting on July 1st, well, he's already started the job, but officially he'll be the chief of staff for DG Amelia when she takes office on July 1st. So Earl, the show is yours. Thank you so much for being here today.
Okay, thank you for that introduction. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, put up my slides, and we'll get rolling. So today we're going to talk about RI membership leads and how this whole process works and why it matters and so forth. So let me share my screen. Okay. There we go. All right. Membership leads. This is how the process starts out. You got somebody that sits down at their computer and they open up Rotary.org and they go in and there's a form that they fill out that says, hey, I'm really interested in Rotary. I live such and such a place. Here's my email, my phone number, and all that sort of stuff. And that goes into the system, and then somebody in the system at Evanston or wherever their server is located sorts through this and says, okay, this is a District 7610 prospect, and it goes into a database. And when somebody from the district opens it up, this is what they see. Here's candidates for District 7610, and here it lists a bunch of people with time or when they had signed up, and so forth, and current status, if they've been assigned to a club or whatever. And when all of this happens, there's an email that goes out to the club, the president, membership chair, and so forth, the district membership chair. And what used to happen in the past was that, you know, the membership chair would get this and look at it and say, ah, well, I got other things to do. And the worst thing in my mind that was happening was that these people were sitting down, taking the time to fill out this form, and they sent it in, and they never heard anything back from Rotary. So that was the first thing that we wanted to fix. And that's kind of what this process that we've got right now is aimed at. So let me go back to this thing. You can see it goes into rotary.org, and we saw what's there. And there's a report that gets generated from that spreadsheet that I had, turns into an Excel spreadsheet. And from there, it gets imported into DACDB, something called the CRM module. And this is where the district folks start really processing the lead. So we're going to go through this process and see how it works. So this is what we get when we first look at it. And here's a guy named Jeffrey George, who's been assigned to the Warrenton Club. And when you click on his name, this brings up all the information we've got on him. This is what he's entered into the system. And you can see he's a real estate agent. And his daytime location is listed as Warrenton. His evening location is listed as Warrenton. Well, there's only one club in Warrenton, and it makes sense that a real estate agent is going to be interested in that particular club. So instead of going through the drill of, well, what club is he interested in, we assigned him directly to the Warrenton Club. In fact, the club president over there actually knows the guy, so they're working on that at this point. So anyway, this is the kind of thing that we see for all the different people, and you can see all of them listed here. And the first thing that I do, and I look at these every morning just to see if there's anybody new. And if there is, I go down to the bottom of this page and I click on a thing that says Active and Historic Leads Report. And that's what generates a spreadsheet. And the spreadsheet, when you get done with it, looks like something like this. So that's really not too helpful there. I think we need something to kind of help interpret that. So that is where we come back to here, and now we're out of my Rotary and Rotary.org, and we're going into DACDB. We're going up here to the district tab and down here to the CRM function. And when I click on that, right over here, it brings up a thing to say import RI leads. And when I execute that, that's what turns that gibberish that we had on that other page into real live information and gets displayed just like you see it right here. So the first thing, when somebody opens up this page and they want to start using these leads and processing them and so forth, the first thing they want to do is click on this created on block right here, and that will sort things. And you want to get them sorted so that the newest ones are on top. You may have to click this a couple of times, but eventually you get this. So And this dates back a couple months here, well, a little more than a few months, but this dates back to what was existing back in May. And you can see these folks listed here, and I'm going to highlight one right here. And this is a person named Claudio Munoz, and you can tell from this entry into this table that this is somebody that has come in through membership leads. And the way you tell that, notice that this person has a membership ID assigned already, as opposed to some of these other people. That means it's come in from membership leads, and it goes into this thing called the Z Prospect Club. And that is kind of a holding cell for people who haven't been assigned to a real club. So all we know at this point is here's somebody that's interested, and we'll see how we process that in a minute. And this course, or this is different from another lead that we've got right down here. This is a guy named Bob Lyons, who is actually a returning member that was part of my club. And see, he doesn't have a membership ID. That means this is something that has been entered by the club instead of something that comes in from membership leads. When we're processing these things, we don't deal with these. That's a club issue, somebody that they know about, and hopefully they've got that situation under control. It's only these people that are in the Z Prospect Club and need a home that we're really concerned about. So if I go back and click on one of these people, it brings up a thing that looks like this. And this sheet is divided into several parts. One of them is the prospect information. And this is the same stuff that we saw back in my Rotary when we clicked on the name and it showed where they were from and showed the email and contact information, all that sort of stuff. So that is something that has been imported now from my Rotary into DAC-DB, and we've got something that we can process now. Another part of that sheet is this thing that says interactivity, and these are the actions that people can take. So you can see it says log a call, send an email, assign a task, assign a club, so forth. So the first thing that has been happening is that I would take this and I would send an email to Pat Williams or one of the other AGs that's helping out with this. And I would say, hey, Claudia, we got your information. Understand you're interested in Rotary. I'm going to pass you off to Pat Williams, who's up in Northern Virginia, and she's going to be in contact with you to see which club might be the one that you're going to be interested in. We don't really have enough information to say, yeah, this person should go to the Vienna Club, this person should go to Alexandria at this point. Somebody really needs to talk to them, find out where they live, where they work, what their situation is, and so we can determine what club they should really be aligned with. So that's the actions. And when you take an action here, like once I send an email to Pat, it shows up over here in this activity log and says, hey, Earl just sent an email to Pat, and Pat can come along and say, okay, I contacted the person and this is what we found out, so forth. So this is strictly a management system to allow us to keep track of what's going on with these people. Otherwise, things just kind of drift off and get lost in the chaff if we don't follow this. And the next thing that you see is this. I can get it. Is the current status, and this is just keeps track of the overall status as you go along. Somebody that's come in, it's gotten to the district membership, it's gotten to the people that are processing the leads. If Pat calls up this person and says, oh, I found something, I'm not really interested anymore, not interested, into the story, you know, we're not going to have to pursue that one. But if they, once we make an inquiry and talk to them, we can update that. And once we get to the point where we have determined that this person belongs in this club, we can make that selection and click on what it says club matching here. And then we can go down here and assign that to a club, and it will bring up all the list of clubs, and we can assign it to that particular club. Now, this is where the district tracking kind of leaves off, and the club tracking should take over. And we've got the process at this point up to where we've assigned it to the club. We're contacting the membership chair, the club president, and so forth. But the clubs have not been trained on how to use this function yet. We're hoping to do some of that in DTA. So right now, in addition to Pat, we've got Paula Kelly, who is taken over and gonna do what I've been doing in the past as far as sending out the original emails and handling that. She would send it to Pat, and then we've got Dee Casio, who is signed up to actually talk to the membership people in the clubs to make sure that that loop gets closed until we get this whole process down. So it's it's unfortunately a multi-step process that takes a lot of manpower to really manage, but I think we've got it to the point where it is manageable, and we have gotten it to the point where everybody at least hears from Rotary, and they're going to right now they're getting 2 emails at least, one from me, one from Pat, or one of the AGs, and it's kind of up to them now to respond and so forth. And a lot of them have. We're getting a pretty good response from these folks. I think last year my club alone added about 5 people that came in through the membership lead. So it is a system that works. And once once the person is assigned to a club, I go back into my Rotary and I update that status to say, okay, this person has been assigned to the Alexandria Club. At that point, RI, in addition to what they hear from people here in the district, RI generates an email to the district membership chair, club president, club membership chair, the AG, saying, hey, here's a new person that's been assigned to your club. And then the club should follow up on that. And the final thing is we want to get to, here's one that was actually finished up. This was a person that Barry Gordon was working with in the Fairfax Club. And this was one that started out and would place him with the Fairfax Club, and then Barry tracked it. And he went through the process of being proposed as a member. Then the membership chair or membership committee approved him. He was approved by the board and ultimately admitted to the club. And this is what we want. This is the final result that we want. Someplace along this line, maybe they drop out and they've decided, no, for some reason they're not really interested. That's another potential outcome, and we need to know about that too, so we can clear the books and not have to track that. So, and like I said, once we assign them to a club, I go back in here and update this candidate progress. It says candidate journey, and there's different selections that you can make here. You know, he's been assigned to a club, but he's no longer interested. Sometimes we'll get somebody like from Silver Springs, Maryland, and said, no, that's not one of ours, send it back to Rotary. Doesn't happen very often, but it does. So that is a process overall, and like I said, it does take some hands-on to really make it work. But the big thing that we have done that other districts have not done is, instead of relying on the input to come in just from RI to the club and relying on the club membership to take over and figure out what's going on, and process the people, we've interjected somebody that's going to definitely respond, and that we're going to, if somebody is really interested, we're going to actually talk to them and figure out which club, instead of letting the club try to figure out, well, they said that they lived in Warrenton, but they work in Vienna or something like that, and make that decision. So we're helping the clubs make that decision. So by the time it gets to the club, they are definitely interested in that particular club, and it should make that process of making the final step of getting them proposed and processed and inducted into the club. So that is my discussion in a nutshell. If somebody's got comments, questions, I'll be glad to go back to a particular slide or answer any questions that you got.
I don't have any questions per se, but that was a fascinating journey, because I don't think I've never walked through that process. It's been explained to me. I've been a recipient of the leads before, but that was really cool. And wow, what a saver of time, and those folks don't feel ignored, because I'm sure for a little bit there, they may have been like, did I submit that right?
Yeah,
I haven't
right.
heard anything. So yeah, we don't want anyone to slip through the cracks if they want to help our mission, to do good and fellowship. So thank you for that awesome presentation. Pat, Peter, do you guys have anything you want to add to that?
No, it looked pretty good. I can see where for club chairs, they definitely need to have someone go through that tool with them. And also to be aware of getting feedback, say to Earl, because if Earl refers a member to them and they find out, well, you've got on there their preference of time and location. But if they don't really quite fit in with the club you've recommended, getting back to make sure we get them with a different club that may be in the same area. If there's, like in my area, we have one breakfast club and we've got two lunch clubs within Arlington. There's other ones, but trying to make sure we've matched them up very well. If one doesn't fit, maybe there's a better match, and not have them go to the one and then get discouraged because it wasn't a good fit and they don't realize, and the club maybe didn't get them linked up with another club. So.
And that's where Pat comes in with helping make that decision and make every attempt to get them matched up with the right club before the club gets notified.
Yeah. But we've had people come to my club, not from this match, but we've always encouraged them, because a lot of times they think they want something, but when we talk to them, they say, well, the time here, it's awful. I've got to be over somewhere else, or something interferes with it, or just the commute way, because they don't really know exactly where the club is, and you may not know exactly where they live or where they work. Mm-hmm. And it's more difficult than they anticipated. So, and we've always encouraged them to go to other clubs, and we've offered to introduce them to other clubs because we're a breakfast club, maybe they'd like to try a lunch club, and we're more than happy to introduce them to that other club.
Yeah, right.
So, but I think
sometimes they gotta find their vibe. You meet a group of people and you're like, that's my vibe. There's my people.
I think it's a great tool. The only thing, when we go back to RI, I would suggest, if they can do it, because they'll have to put a new block in, but at least as a minimum, put the zip code for US people so you know right off the bat their general area where they are, as opposed to having to go out and ask them. I mean, you still want to contact them, but at least it gives you a better starting point. But
Yeah,
that's our
well,
future.
it does. You can see here. Well, I'm on the page in my Rotary. It does say daytime location and evening location.
Oh, that's good.
So we did, but that's about the only location information we have.
Renee talks about the vibe. I've seen that in action when I was with her and she was visiting a club of young dudes out in Ashburn area. And they loved her. They said, "We want you to join our club," because she got the vibe and they loved it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was a good group. Yeah, I feel like that was 10 years ago. I've had so much fun visiting the clubs. That was at the very beginning. That was when I was fresh out of the box and I was still like kind of figuring out my speech.
Yeah.
This has been a really cool experience.
I can't say
all the
enough.
vibes.
I
What
can't
now?
thank you for everything all of you are doing. And when Earl started to try to teach me a little bit, when I was raising my hand to try to help, I was just overwhelmed with how much the load that he carries and how he does it so gently and so
I know,
positive.
right?
It's just amazing, amazing. So it's always a delight to work with him. Yeah, appreciate it. And there's some interesting situations. There'll be someone like Peter said, I have two people who live in Dumfries. And they one works in Merrifield and one works in Alexandria, I think. And they try to find a club that works for them. And there's no club in Dumfries, and the other options, they have to fit their work schedule. So it's very
And
challenging.
commute, if they have a commute,
We
Right.
try to stick with it until we find them a home.
find them a club. Oh, that's awesome. I really love
Yeah.
the dedication you guys have to this. It's so
Errol,
crucial.
just one other question. When do they get rid of the names on here? Because I've looked at this and you've got some names with the created date of back in 2019,
Yeah, right.
2018.
That's part of the critical path. You've got to get to the point where we know they've been inducted into a club, or they're not interested, they're out of the system, and we can clear them out. And
Yeah, but do we at the district clear them out, or who clears them out?
we can there's a selection on that page back in my Rotary where we can say they're no longer interested, and Rotary will clear them out of the system.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. Well, then I think that we could probably go ahead and stop the recording and